Hello, Bashar. Question about dreams. So a little while ago, I heard you explain to someone how dreams about being in airplanes and other kinds of vehicles can be screen memories for actual contact experiences. So 2 days after I heard you say that, my husband, who had not heard any of it, comes to me and says, I had the weirdest dream. And this is already weird because he doesn't usually remember his dreams. So he said in his dream, they were on a plane and it was going straight up. And then they were in a big hangar and that there was a large general there who was looking for me. And then they found me and we all got into an Explorer and we were driving around. The synchronicity of that was really fantastic. And my question is, who was this general? And why were they asking him where I was? I mean, I'm guessing that they would know how to find me if they needed me, right? Thank you.
This is a representation of a classic so-called abduction experience, going from a smaller craft into a larger craft, a mothership, so to speak. The general is a projected telepathic representation of someone in authority in a way that your husband could understand, could relate to. And they were trying to see how much ability he had to sense his connection between him and you. They knew where you were. They wanted to see if he knew where you were. It was a test of growing telepathic communication through the connection of relationship and love.
Good day, Bashar. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm very excited.
All right. Thank you.
I have a number of questions.
Yeah.
My wife passed away last month.
All right.
I've been trying to come to terms with this reality.
All right.
Is it possible, or am I allowed to know if did she complete her life team before leaving?
Yes.
Okay.
And now it continues in the afterlife by allowing you to reach out to make more connections with her in spirit. That's part of the theme as well.
I see. Because I still feel a sense of guilt in me.
Why?
I'm not sure if I've done anything. I've not done enough, or have I done anything wrong?
No, you've done fine. No, you've done fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. This is all prearranged. It's all pre-planned. It's by agreement. The timing is correct for this. Don't spend time there. Otherwise, you are preventing yourself from experiencing the connections that she can be making to you.
I see.
So let go of all that. Breathe a sigh of relief. Let go. And just open up in love, in your heart, to receive whatever it is that she will send to you. And eventually you'll begin to feel it more and more strongly. And you will realize that guilt has nothing to do with this agreement and this experience.
I see.
All right?
Because every time I think of her, I start to cry. Because
you're in grief. I know. You're letting go. You're letting go, and you're rearranging your understanding of your relationship, and that's fine. But remember that if you consider this to be a loss and keep defining it as a loss, then anytime she may attempt to communicate with you or contact you, you will only experience that connection as grief. So the more you let go of that idea over whatever time it takes, the more you'll be able to realize that she is actually communicating with you a lot more often than you might think.
Okay. A few days ago, I was talking to my son,
yes,
encouraging him to connect with my wife, with his mom. And
yes,
suddenly he actually saw the spirit of my wife floating on air. I'm just curious, why did my son is able to do this?
How old is he?
10 years old.
That's why. Because he hasn't learned not to do that. He is more open to the idea of spirit, more open to the idea of what is possible, whereas most adults on your planet have been taught to think that those things are not possible. But he hasn't done that. So he is more capable of perceiving beings in spirit because he hasn't blocked his ability to do that with all of the different things on your planet and your society that you tell them are simply not possible to do.
Okay.
Children
So
are
is there
very
any,
open this way.
Is there any ways that I encourage him to have such connection?
He
Is
has
there
the
this
connection. The most important thing is for him to teach you how to have the connection, not to encourage him, but for him to encourage you by knowing that he has just shown you it's possible.
Okay, understand. Okay. Another thing is, now as a single parent, what can I do to best educate my children such that they'll grow up in a balance, as a balanced adult?
Well, as we have said before, you teach them the formula. You teach them that they are as powerful as they need to be to attract whatever they need in life without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to attract it. Tell them to trust in the way their life unfolds and in synchronicity to bring them what they need in perfect timing, not to rush or be desperate, but to live in the moment. You can help them learn in certain circumstances how to make positive choices, how to understand the consequences of their choices, and get them to understand how to move forward in balance in that way. So you can teach them all these things, but they can also teach you some of these things as well if you pay attention.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you so much, Bashar.
You are very
So
welcome.
grateful.
Our unconditional love to you and hers to you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, Bashar. I was also wondering about the animal that Willa suggested that we connect to connect to her, which is the fox. And that is a little bit, well, that is a predator in our time. Now, in her time, is it also a predator? I know you said as we evolve that we wouldn't have as much predation probably. So I was just wondering how much predation is in her time. Thank you very much.
Almost none. There is more of a symbiosis that is taking place in nature, and there is a certain period of time in her history where that actually happened in a certain time period more rapidly. Certain shifts were observed, and suddenly many animals that were predatory either shifted their behavior in certain ways, grew in certain ways, or shifted or changed in certain ways physiologically to allow them to become more symbiotic, or simply died out and are no longer existing. So the fox in her time is not the fox of your time. It is a very different kind of an animal, even though it has some similar looks to it.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day, good day.
So excited to be here with you. Recently, I've been playing with the idea of channeling. Usually, I just do it with my children. It's very comfortable to do it with them. And
All right. So when you say you're exploring that idea, do you mean doing it for people beyond your children? Is that what you're saying?
I've done it where I've recorded myself, but I often have challenges in the recording.
Challenges of what nature?
Like the sound, my voice doesn't get picked up by the microphone.
That can happen. Your energy is fluctuating. Your electromagnetic auric field can affect electronic equipment sometimes when you are expanding it in certain ways, and when it contains frequencies that are different than the normal frequencies of your planet. It can interfere with electronic equipment. This has happened with us many times in some public events where the cameras simply refuse to work.
Thank you.
Yes.
So the beings that I'm connecting to.
Not going to go deeply into that.
Okay.
First and foremost, you will connect to your own higher mind, maybe some of your spirit guides. Get to know them, get to know yourself, get familiar with the process. But as we have often suggested, one of the best ways to do this is to actually channel for other people who are asking questions, who really want to know the answers, because then you can get out of the way and let them pull the information through you, like grounding it like a circuit, instead of sitting there wondering if what you're getting is accurate or even worthwhile. let someone pull the information through you if you really want to practice vocal channeling.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been that have been holding me from doing that sometimes is I feel how can I stay grounded so that the information that comes through is clear. Sometimes I
Don't worry about it. That's how. Whatever happens is what needs to happen. Remember, you're practicing. You have to go with the idea that, hey, I may not get anything. Hey, I may get something that's misinterpreted. Hey, I'm just learning this. So let's go with the flow. This is just for the point of practicing. You'll figure it out. You'll get a better sense of when it comes through in the way that it needs to. But at first, you have to let go of all of that. You have to let go of needing to be correct, needing to be accurate, needing to get anything at all. You have to let go of the idea that you might look silly or strange or sound silly or strange. You might have to let go of the idea of what other people might think. Remember, channeling is not just for bringing through information for others. It's a process that also is there for the channel to learn who they are rather than learning who the entity is, to become more of yourself, letting go of those things that don't work for you, refining the process as you go along. It's for the channel as well as those receiving the information. So as long as you make an announcement at first to the people asking questions that you're just new at this, you're practicing this, you don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to trust whatever comes through is what needs to come through, and you're going to trust that even something not coming through is what needs to happen at that particular moment until you can get more familiar with what's going on and be more comfortable with it, then things will change and shift. And you might even find yourself doing channeling in a different form altogether, but that's up to you. Does this help?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'd like to ask one more thing. The world sometimes feels very intense, and I understand the idea of looking at things through a glass window or glass wall.
Yes.
But sometimes I still find that, particularly with what's happening in Ukraine,
Yes, yes.
I get a sense of helplessness.
Then do what you can. Act according to how you are able to in some positive fashion. There are many ways to support what is going on. We can't talk about this too deeply because we are not allowed to get involved in your politics. Nevertheless, look around. There are options available to you to do whatever you can to be of assistance in the situation. So let go of your fears and take whatever actions are positive in whatever direction synchronicity brings to you that you're actually able to take some action on. There are many organizations who are being of assistance. You can participate in whatever way works for you.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good day. What you have chosen the theme to be. Some people, for different purposes, might choose to have an unchangeable theme for the entire lifetime. But that's not necessarily the case anymore now that you are exploring what consciousness is and the idea of taking responsibility and living in the moment and having accurate definitions of all these concepts and letting go of the fear-based beliefs and outdated definitions. These, in and of themselves, in this day and age, may allow you more flexibility in changing your theme if you have exhausted the original one. You now have the opportunity in this lifetime to have more than one theme. So, allow yourself simply to stay in the present, move forward in acting on the idea of the formula that we have shared with all of you. If you are able to change your theme, if you come to that point, you will recognize it through synchronicity. You will feel the original theme leave you. You will feel some freedom within you and a sense of the ability to choose something different.
It seems like since we have greater communication now with our higher minds, because we understand that relationship within ourselves better, that makes things much more, quote unquote, changeable.
Yes.
Because a negotiation can actually take place.
As long as a lesson is learned, then yes, you are free to choose other themes.
Okay, great. And can you tell us how astrology and karma could be related?
No.
Okay.
Because they're not.
can you use astrology in any way, though? You could probably use it as a tool to balance your karma. Yeah.
You can use it as a permission slip, like any permission slip, to again allow yourself to use karma to balance yourself. But to say to balance your karma is again misleading. You're not balancing your karma. Karma is the balancing act.
Okay. So, oh, and do we have a choice about our next lifetime?
Yes.
Do we make that choice once we're in spirit, right?
Sometimes you can make it when you're still in physical reality, though you usually allow it to happen when you are in spirit, because there's more flexibility, more awareness, more understanding of what you have learned from the physical experience, and more opportunity to apply that to the next choice you may make.
Okay, and one person was saying that after their parents passed away, 2 cardinal birds came around and made their home directly across from the front door of my house, which was once their parents' house. And so this person feels a real connection with these birds and wants to know, is it possible for the soul of a person to come back as an animal?
No, no. This is not a reincarnational question. Remember again, bring everything back to the fact that everything exists at the same time. Therefore, that immediately eliminates the idea, mechanically speaking, of reincarnation. You can have it as an experience, as a presentation for certain reasons, for certain purposes, but that's not what's mechanically happening. However, this can involve another aspect of the oversoul, of which the person is also a part and the animal is also a part. So it may be a presentation of the same oversoul in another form, but that doesn't mean that the person came back as that animal. It's just another aspect of the same oversoul that the person themselves might also have been an extension of. We will go more deeply into this in a future transmission, after the next transmission, when we will discuss the idea of how the oversoul works.
I don't know if this is the right time to ask this question, but the idea of a bird or a flower or a smell being a recognition that a person is communicating with you, that's a completely different idea than the one we were just talking about.
Yes, that is simply a presentation of synchronicity using a vibration that may awaken you or alert you to the idea that another being in spirit may be attempting to communicate with you.
Right. So rather than the idea of, oh, that's my parents reincarnated, it's more like when you're seeing those birds, they're actually triggering you to know you're having a communication.
It can be that, but as I said, it doesn't necessarily just have to be that. It can actually be not only a message or a signal, but it can actually be an extension of the same oversoul that the person was an extension of too. I'm simply saying that's another option.
Okay. And there's a lot of feelings about staying in your excitement and how to get back into that when you're experiencing a lot of loss or grief or negatives. Things keep happening, or even though you try to stay neutral, those challenges of how do you balance yourself so that you can feel the inspiration again that comes from your excitement?
As we have said, the first thing you must do is accept what's happening as there being a reason for it happening. So if you're experiencing those challenges, own them and ask yourself what your beliefs have to be in order to generate what you're experiencing, because it can't be otherwise. You can only experience what you believe you can experience. And if you believe you need to experience a challenge in that way, as a loss or something that seems challenging in a negative way, then you must believe that you're getting something out of doing it that way. You must be learning something. So by owning it and by asking yourself, what are you getting out of remaining in that belief system that's generating the experience in this particular way, then you can, with honesty, go deeper into your self-investigation. Remember, know thyself. And the deeper you go into why you have a belief that is making you experience these things, why you're holding on to that belief to keep experiencing things in that way, will illuminate what it is you think you're getting out of doing that, why you won't let it go, and it can give you much deeper insight into how to free yourself of it by realizing that by letting it go, you may actually have a much stronger connection and a much more positive experience of what it is you're exploring as a relationship to other people or other places or other things.
So when negative emotions come up when someone's following their excitement, such as feeling very intense anxiety and insecurity,
Remember, that's what's supposed to happen. The reflective mirror tool in your passion brings your attention to belief systems within you that are out of alignment with your passion. So the fact that those things come up should excite you. That's part of your excitement, because now you have something to work with, and now you can realize that you can let something go that doesn't serve you, and that adds to the energy and momentum of your passion. So it's all right to feel those things and own them, but recognize that's why they come up, because they're bringing your attention to something you didn't realize was there, and now that gives you the opportunity to work with it and let it go, and that is an exciting prospect.